Today on Apocalypse Auto, we show you the before and after of Shane's dirt cheap bug out van that he got for $350. We go to Butte, Montana for Evel Knievel days, and then we revisit some old Apocalypse Auto vehicles that you haven't seen in a while.
Ready for this, Wayne? Nope. Ah. Oh, homeless guy. That's who they're after. That's why I'm going to buy a van, so I don't have to live down by the river. We're recording at any point. So here's the van. This is not the van, obviously. There it is off in the field. It's an award-winning van. It's outstanding in its field. It came with a Chilton manual from the same era, which is just as dilapidated as the van, but you'll be very pleased with the interior because you don't have to live here. Killer seats. We've only been here about 15 minutes, just kind of hanging out. Took the doghouse out, found a whole bunch of spider nests. We're pretty certain this thing's going to start for us today. So Shane's got his handy dandy MacGyvered exterior fuel pump. We have our battery in line. Here's the back of Shane's head. Come around to the other side, you take a look in the interior. It's pretty nice in here. I'll bet you it's 176,000.
Yeah, that's my guess.
Look at that stereo. Woo, aftermarket. That's a beaut. Alright, well, got a nifty little spare tire that's bald. Not really too bald, but that's not going on the road. Not today, not tomorrow. You can see how cobwebby it is. It's been living here for a while.
So of course nobody could tell us how long this vehicle had actually sat in a field, and we had no idea how bad the gas was. So the smart thing to do is just bypass the entire system and hook up our own fuel line and pump into just a standard gas can. Unfortunately, I wasn't thinking straight on this day and hooked the fuel line up to a different port, which I'm going to leave up to you guys to tell us in the comments where I hooked it up to.
Bypass the whole fuel system. Pumping. You hear it? Oh, he doesn't like it at all. Give me fuel. Fuel me. Fuel me. Fuel me. Oh, it doesn't like it at all. You can just sit here and watch Shane get all pissed off.
So after a couple attempts, we actually got it to fire over for a few seconds, but then it died, and then the carburetor started to overflow with gasoline, and that's when we realized we had a bigger problem, or so we thought, and decided to load it up on the trailer.
We're not getting good connection, and of course I brought a post-style battery, and this one requires a side post. So we're just going to tow it over and hoist it up onto the trailer and deal with it when we get back to Missoula. Yay for car trailers. God, that man is really on our ass. Right?
Whenever you're ready. So, as you saw earlier, the van used to be white, but white is not a very good color for any van to be. So I thought I'd make it a little more Montana friendly. Of course, started with the bed liner on the bottom to stop from scratches and dents. Then we got the army green. I just held branches, leaves, a little bit of grass up there, sprayed it with a lighter green to create this nice camouflage pattern. Up here we've got various tools, the shovel, the axe, Pulaski, We've also got the air tank that plumbs into the actual air compressor for anything we might need. And then we've also got the toolboxes up on top that hold various stuff, including a chainsaw and random things in case we break down. Come down to the back, we've got the 2 solar panels mounted, putting out 200 watts. And then we've got the various off-road lights to light up any situation. Now it all comes down to, we need new rims and tires, and we need to get this thing a little higher off the ground so that we can go more places without getting stuck.
As far as we know, the tires that came on this van could be 30 years old. Shane was making a budget bug-out vehicle. He got some old used tires for free, so to get them to fit on the van, we had to order some wheel adapters and put those on first. So these tires only cost us 80 bucks.
That's beautiful. Dude. If it rode like that, it would be totally fine. I thought it was all the way down.
Of course, like all vans, it comes pretty empty, so you have to make all of your own furniture. You can't just go down to Walmart and buy furniture. So I made all of this myself. Roll out drawers, hold all the different food, and then all the double open cabinets hold all your standard things for when you're up in the woods or going on an adventure. Still make some good meals. All different storage, different pull-out drawers, hold extra clothing, gloves. You never know where you might be or what kind of clothing you might need. Then over here we got the mini kitchen. Set the stove up here and cook. We got more food in here. Anything else we might need. Next to that we got the mini fridge. Then over here we got the actual man station. Got the TV, man cave sign. The entire computer, sound system. I had to cut the computer down just to make it fit into here. Got the stove down here that I can unfold up in the kitchen area if I really want to get crazy and cooking. Well, in total, all the food in here, I could probably survive for about 2 months with everything in the van. Just in this box is my long shelf life, things that don't really go bad. And I could probably survive off just this one alone for 2 weeks. And at night when it's sleepy time, all you do is grab this, flip it over. You got a bed, you got pillows, blankets. Not the most comfortable, but it works. So yeah, of course, we've got solar panels on the roof. We got 200 watts up top. That runs down through all the wires here, runs into my charge controller, which maintains the 2 batteries that I have in the back. And then if I select a switch up front, we'll also charge the front batteries. And here we have the basic rough draft of what the battery bank will be. Obviously, when I rebuild the bed, it will be all encased. Won't have wires hanging out, but got the full fuse panel that runs all the lights and everything we need there. Got 2 batteries here, some more up front. So I figure I can run for 3 or 4 days off grid. This is the fancy control panel. Got 12 volt general cigarette lighter plug-in. We got 2 USBs, voltage gauge obviously, all the different light bars, front lights, side lights, backup lights, additional roof lights, zombie lights, and the air compressor for when you need to fill up a tire.
Nice.
So for anyone out there watching this that likes Apocalypse Auto and wants to try to help support us, we now have merchandise. Check the link in the description below and go check out all our sweet stickers and shirts. So after getting the bug out van all decked out, it was time to give it a test run. So we decided it was time to go camping. And I decided to bring my Blazer along so I could collect some firewood. So after getting the van up to the camp spot and making sure the fire wasn't gonna go out, I decided it was time to start collecting firewood. And what's the best way to do that? Well, with explosives. So needless to say, don't ever try this at home or in a forest near you. But you guys have seen us use tannerite before in some of our other videos, and that's what we're going to use to blow up this tree. First thing I'm going to do is cut a hole into the base of the tree big enough to fit the bottle full of tannerite in, and then you just need to step back and wait for the boom.
It's got a hell of a lean to it. At least we know which direction it's going to fall.
For those of you who have never been on YouTube before, let me tell you about tannerite. It's completely legal, totally inert substance, but when you mix the two together and hit it with a high velocity round out of a rifle, well, let's just see what happens.
Boom!
Right?
Makes me nervous.
I think that worked.
Yeah, holy shit.
Dude!
That was a huge explosion! I'm glad I was hiding behind the tree, dude.
This is how you collect firewood, Montana. With explosives. Wow, dude. So after confirming the kill on this old dead tree, it was time to chop it up and get it in the back of the Blazer so I can take it home for firewood.
Okay, tailgate, hold on.
Yeah. It's actually sticking out farther than I thought it would.
Nice. Nice.
I thought that was going back down for sure.
Okay, crush my arm.
Don't do that.
Get my finger.
That was a bad idea.
Okay.
There we go.
Yeah, don't crash or hit the brakes too hard.
Oh, dude, if I got in a head-on. So after we got the Blazer all loaded down with a ton of wood, the next thing on the agenda was our upcoming trip to Butte, Montana for Evel Knievel days. And of course you know we're gonna drive the Warchild bus and take Shane's van along. Before we can move the Warchild bus over to Wayne's house, we need to move a few vehicles. You guys remember our old camper car hauler we tried to drive down to Wasteland Weekend in 2016? Well, we still have it, and it still runs, just not very well. And because we don't have enough room over at Wayne's house for both the bus and the motorhome, we have a storage unit about half a mile away. So we're gonna have to do the old swap-a-roo and get the bus over to Wayne's house, which means we're gonna have to get this motorhome running, which is something that it hasn't done and I don't know how long. We're back to this.
Right? Just had a moment of deja vu.
yeah, dude, total. The third episode of Apocalypse Auto. Which is awesome that that was our third project, was this goddamn thing.
It's crazy to look or to think back.
Think back and be like, oh, a year ago we thought this was a good idea.
It's only 5 gallons.
It smells like 5.4 gallons.
5.489.
So we'll make sure she fires and then we'll...
Oh. Everybody calm down.
Just touch the gas.
I'll do this. Right? That's incredulous. She's like, please, I'm not dead, I swear. Don't get rid of me.
So after getting the old crusty 440 in this motorhome to start, next thing on the agenda was to back it out and then get Scat, the S10 Blazer, up onto the back of it so we can drive about a half mile down the road and pick up our bus.
Shane, you're rolling. You're rolling. Where about you?
You want me over farther, right?
Oh, it's a controlled roll.
Yeah.
I was terrified. Well, yeah, if you just moved over to the other side of your van a little bit and then rolled back forward, you'd be perfect. Oh!
Good moves.
Yeah. Okay, give it some gas.
That was nothing.
You're clear both ways.
But when we got to the storage yard, Shane had some bad news.
All right, Shane, explain to us what happened to the bus.
So, apparently, while we were camping, we got a phone call from Wayne that he had stopped by the bus and the headlights were gone, and somebody snapped off the front door handle. There's supposed to be a little handle right here that you grab and you go dink, and it pops the doors open. Well, it was locked. Somebody got aggressive and thought if they hit hard enough, it'll open. Well, it didn't. It just broke off. But we armored the bus, so we got to figure out how to get into it. Thankfully, we just bungee corded the strap or the hatch on the roof, and it's really tight. But if we get it up high enough and we can slide a machete in there, we should be able to cut the bungee cords, pop the hatch open, and be able to get back on our bus. Hopefully.
And they stole our headlights.
They didn't even try to keep them in good order.
All they had to do was unscrew this bolt. Instead, they snapped them off.
They actually snapped them off.
Yeah, they just tore them off my hand.
And we're in! Can't believe we have to break into our own bus. I'm pretty sure it was one of these trailers back there.
Oh, definitely.
Probably some punk kids like us when we were younger.
Yeah. Headlights! Those things are like $15, man! They got the battery.
Did they?
Yep, it's gone.
We got a battery on the RV and we're leaving it here.
So after parking the camper and pulling the battery out of it and Scat so nobody would steal them, we got the bus over to Wayne's house, and then the next day, it was time to start getting ready for Evel Knievel days, which meant replacing our stolen headlights and adding a fuel pressure gauge so we could try to get better gas mileage in the War Child.
Oh my God, we hit 60! 65 miles an hour and I don't have my foot mashed to the floor. It's a miracle! It's a miracle!
So I assume since you guys are watching an Apocalypse Auto video, you probably know who Evel Knievel is. But for those of you who don't, he's probably the most famous person from Montana, which, I know, that's really not saying a lot. But Evel Knievel, who was born and raised in Butte, Montana, is most notable for his many motorcycle jumps. The most famous being when he jumped 14 buses, which was over 133 feet. So every year in Butte, Montana, his hometown, they have a festival called Evel Knievel Days. And this year, they invited Apocalypse Auto to bring the War Child down so everybody attending the event could check it out.
Can't drive 35.
The bus can't drive 35.
Alright, he's getting really staged up to back it in here like a pro. A little bit more. Or not. So after we got the bus and the van to Butte for Evel Knievel days, the first thing we did was wander around town and check out all the crazy things they had going on. The first thing we saw was they had people base jumping from a crane. And the next thing on the itinerary, Daredevil Dan was going to jump 3 cars, painted red, white, and blue, of course. And then after that, a local kid named Levi was backflipping an ATV.
That's over with. Thanks for coming. Enjoy Evil Days. It was a dream come true. Well built. I couldn't do it without you guys' support. All right, thank you. You guys, make that noise. Sir, Levi, run!
Of course, after all the exciting things that were going down this weekend, our favorite thing to do was just hang out at the War Child and talk to all the people that came up and wanted to know what was wrong with our mental stability. We had a great time in Butte, and we're hoping to be invited back next year for Evel Knievel Days, but maybe this time they'll let us crush some cars with the War Child. The last thing we need to do before we end this episode is to use Shane's van to go pick up a long-lost Warrior, Shane's Fiero that was stolen from a storage lot in 2014. So, until next time, thank you all so much for watching. Beautiful. You're a pro. Everyone likes you. Yeah!